Now, linear inequalities, the word linear means line. You are going to create graphs that look like this. You already know how to do graphing inequalities on a number line, but if you don't remember, let me remind you. Something like this. And then you would do the open or closed circle and then draw an arrow. So for this one, x is greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to means you're going to have a closed circle and you want to be bigger than or equal to 0, so you're going to go that way. And another one, x is less than 3. We would go to the 3, and this is where you would use an open circle because you're not supposed to land on the 3. It just says less than, not less than or equal to, and less than is going in this direction. That's something you've already done, I hope. If you haven't, I'll link another video up above. So you go watch that video first and then come back and watch this one. Because for this guy, we are going to be doing something a little different. Now, linear inequalities, the word linear means line. You are going to create graphs that look like this. For your notes, you can take notes on paper, or if you want the free note taker, go grab it right now. There's a link in the description. I'll put one up here in the corner too. Here's a couple things you have to remember. Looking at this picture, it says y less than 2x. So if you notice, we have a dashed line and we have some shading. So how do you figure out what you're supposed to draw? Well, if you see a less than or greater than, not equal to, but just a regular less than or greater than symbol, you're going to use the dashed line. In the number line version, this was the open circle. If you are seeing a less than or a less than or equal to, then you are going to shade the part of the graph that is below your line. Sometimes the lines are going to be easy to see that, and sometimes they won't be so easy to see that. Now, we have a solid line and we are shading above, and look at the symbol. Y greater than or equal to x plus 1. So if you see greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you're going to use a solid line. And if you see greater than or equal to, greater than means you shade above. Let's do example number 1. To start these, first step, you have to draw the line. When we draw the line, we have to decide, is it going to be solid or is it going to be dashed? Well, look at this one. Greater than or equal to. That equal to line on the bottom, you see the little line on the bottom of the symbol? That means you are going to make a solid line. In this one, the y-intercept is 2 and the slope is 1/4. So we're going to put a dot on the 2 and we're going to use that slope to find a second dot. I'm going to go up 1 over 4 and there's my second dot. And now when I draw the line, it's going to be solid. Yay! Now you got to figure out which part of this you're going to shade. This is the coloring part. This is the fun part. Above or below on this guy? Well, it says greater than. The way I finally figured out how to do this is I look at my y-intercept. I have to be above that. So this region up here, there will be lines that are not real obvious. Take a test point and check. Put it into this inequality and see if you get a true statement or a false statement. The area that is true, you would shade. The area that is false, you would not shade. Now, when you pick a test point, pick something easy. I always like to pick 0, 0, x is 0, and y is 0. And I'm going to just change these to 0 and 0 and see what happens. So I get 0 greater than or equal to 1/4 times 0 plus 2. Work all that out. I get a statement that says 0 is greater than or equal to 2, and that is false. And so the place in the graph where that point is needs to be not shaded, and it isn't, so this is correct. Let's do example 2. Same steps. Let's run through those. We have to make a line, but first, is that line going to be solid or dashed? Well, look at this symbol. It's not a less than or equal to, it's just a simple less than sign, so this is going to be a dashed line. If you end up drawing a solid line, then you won't be the first student that then goes in with an eraser and erases bits. I know we're going to do a dashed line. Our y-intercept is a +5 and our slope is 5/2. So I go up here and I make a dot. And just like in your class, when I start to work this slope, I'm supposed to go up 5 over 2. The graphs are always too small. Instead of going up 5, I'm going to go down 5. And instead of running 2 forward, I'm going to run 2 backwards. So I'm going to graph this slope backwards. Go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then back up 2. And that would be the other dot. The slope is 5/2. If you counted from here to here, you'd be going up 5 over 2. It works. Draw the line, and we already decided it was a dashed line. Now, above or below? Well, this thing says I need to be less than that. Y is less than. So here's my y-intercept. I need to be less than 5. So it's all these y's down here. This is the part I'm going to shade, but let's just check my point to make sure. There's my 0, 0. That's in this region. That works. 0 is less than 5. So yeah, shading that part of the graph. I'm going to give you some problems to do. At the end, I'll show you the answers. If you have the printout, you already have the key. Okay, let's check your work. This is what your answers will look like. This is 1 and 2. Pause and check your work. Here is 3 and 4. Here is 5 and 6. And the last two, 7 and 8. 8 one might have been tricky if you forgot how to graph horizontal and vertical lines. I'll link a video for that as well up here. The next video is going to be about graphing 2 of these on the same graph. It's called Systems of Linear Inequalities, and you can see it here. Click into that next. Bye.